Welcome back, everyone, to the Popcorn Podcast. I'm Tommy Cresta, and somewhere in the shore is my co-host Ryan Ferran. And today we're here to talk about episode 5. Is this 5?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
5.
yeah. Episode 5 of House of the Dragon.
Stella,
And
am I sounding good?
yeah. You sound good.
All right, I'm stuck on the beach.
And
Yeah, I
yeah,
sound far
just
away.
here. No, you sound fine.
All right,
But
that's cool.
yeah, we're here to talk about episode 5 of House of the Dragon, and then. Yeah, that's really it for this week's episode, actually. And then we
Oh
have
my
another
god.
episode that we're going to record right after this. I'll post right after this, but we'll get into that when
Yeah,
we actually
we're gonna
record
be
that.
we're gonna review Long Legs. But side note here, I'm recording in the best room that I can, have some space to put a chair down and sit. My sister has SPF 100 sunscreen in here.
Nuh-uh, I want that.
That's wow. Water resistant for 80 minutes. That's incredible.
Damn.
Wow. Yeah, but
What was that
anyways,
title?
House of the Dragon. Um, let's just say I don't think Aegon could have worn sunscreen in the last episode. I don't think that would have helped very much.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was going to help that boy any either.
No.
It was like initial thoughts. Of course, I don't think it's a bad episode. I don't think there's a bad episode in the show, but again, it's just a very good episode. It's very much setting up the rest of this season and what we can expect for what's coming on, what's going to happen.
Yeah, it was a cool down episode. After last episode with the massive fight at the end, you just needed an episode like this to kind of regroup, see how all the characters are feeling, what they're thinking, and just kind of settle down after the last one. So I kind of knew it was going to be a, you know, more towards the boring side. There wasn't going to be any like battles or anything like that. But I thought it was a great episode still, just seeing how everybody kind of took it, especially all the scenes with Corliss. I mean, that man was going through it, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I thought it was a great episode. So
Yeah, no, I agree. It's House of the Dragon. I mean, I'm just happy that the show's still going and it's still going strong. It's not having any kind of dip off from last season and throughout so far this season. And yeah, I liked every scene with Corliss. I liked every scene this episode. There was nothing like there was a couple scenes that stood out that I was excited about, and I think I have them both written. The final scene in the entire episode I really liked because it just got me excited. But yeah, I
mhm.
think yeah, yeah, it was just a good episode. There was nothing that super stood out to me. Yeah,
Yeah, keep thinking
there's
about it.
two scenes later on that I really enjoyed, but all in
All
all,
right.
it's just a good episode. Like what you said, it definitely is a cool down episode. But again, coming off an episode as big as last episode, you kind of see the effects of what happened.
Yeah, 100%. Um, it was cool seeing all the small folks' reaction too, especially in the beginning when they're wheeling Melee's head through King's Landing. Just hearing them all go like, "Oh God, this is a bad omen. Why would you do this?" It's because you kind of forget that the Targaryens, because we spend so much time with them, you kind of think of them more as human, but you forget that the small folk, they're gods to them. Like nobody else can come through and ride a dragon and go through all this, and they say it over and over again with Jaehaerys and Viserys' rule. There's been 70 or 80 years of nothing but peace, and all of a sudden the High Towers come in and screw it all up. So I thought it was really interesting hearing all the small folks' reaction to Melee's and the death of a dragon. It seems like they're really more on Rhaenyra's side than you kind of think. But yeah, it's cool getting that different perspective than the obviously the highborns that we've been with throughout the entire show.
I definitely agree. And then I like how the episode starts off quiet, very quiet, just showing we get to see Corliss's reaction to the events at the end of the season, at the end of the last episode. I'm sorry, and you also see Rhaenyra's, which then leads into us seeing, as Ryan said, on at King's Landing, we see the army returning, and then with the dragon head. And I agreeing with you, I really like seeing like the normal people like we get to see their reaction to all this because we never get to follow them really in Game of Thrones or this. It's always about the higher ups in the world, the kings, the queens, the lords, and that's what we mainly get to follow. So it is always cool anytime we get to kind of like live in that world for a little bit and see what they think of these situations.
Yeah, and I like the little scene with It was quick, but I think it was Hugh's wife maybe, or just some other lady. She was going through like the market, picking out oranges, and all of the oranges were just covered in mold. And she picks up the one with just the least amount of mold. Like it was
Oh,
still it was still gross, but she was like, "Man, we gotta get something here." So it's times are really bad right now in King's Landing, and probably for the most part across the realm. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that develops a little more. I think another part of this episode when Rhaenyra sends the one lady to go and kind of like spread rumors and do all that stuff. I can't wait to see where that ends up because that's one of my favorite parts of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon is just seeing all how much words have power and how they can destroy people without them even knowing. So I can't wait to see where it goes with the small folk, whether they kind of rise up at some point or what happens there. But yeah, I mean, shit's bad right now. It's a tough life. Um,
I thought you had more to say. I just
no,
didn't
I'm
want
just
to cut you off. Um, but yeah, and then that kind of leads us into Allison sitting there as they're carrying in this box, which is Aegon in the moment, and they're trying. I guess they are trying to hide him from the people. They don't want them to see what happened to their king. And
also from the sun because that would
well,
suck.
that bro. But that scene was so disgusting to watch when they're like taking his
Yeah,
armor off and all of that, and just watching
dude.
the skin peel away.
When they snapped like his knee or whatever bone that was back together.
Oh,
Oh hell yeah,
did you say hell yeah?
yeah. My note I just said so slimy in my notes. That's
Ew.
all. That's what my thought was. Oh, I also
But yeah.
wrote about the dragon head. Probably smells worse than the raccoons we passed on the way back from the mountains.
Oh, dude, that one raccoon did smell so bad.
We passed like five of them.
Yeah, their ops were out for them. I
It was
told you.
crazy. Rocket got fucked up.
But yeah, they do. The Grand Maester does say that Aegon is still currently alive at this moment, and then Aemon then gets to tell Alicent that there needs to be someone else to rule while Aegon's out, and they need to show that the people that everything will be okay. Because especially recently, we see it with the oranges and that quick shot and a quick scene. We know that there's food shortages. We know that they're right now the royal family is not in the best position with the people of King's Landing because of the
No,
hangings, the food situations, and just everything in between. And I don't think many people already in King's Landing. I think maybe like um, the other families outside in different parts of Westeros, but I don't think they really love Aegon at all. And I mean, you can kind of see why
no.
throughout the show. But yeah, so I have a feeling these next was this episode 5? So I think episode 6 and 7, we're definitely gonna get I think more into like the actual side of King's Landing, what everyone thinks.
Yeah, I don't. They obviously don't like anybody really. Like they don't like Aegon because he's an asshole. They don't like Aemond because he's insane. They don't like Alicent because she's done really nothing and just kind of married the king and then gave birth to these fucking weirdos. They don't know anything about Helena because he doesn't go outside. And even on the blacks, like I guess they probably like Rhaenyra more, but they're also terrified of Daemon still because you know all that shit with the gold cloaks and how the gold cloaks just went in and started butchering people when he took them over. But also, I did have a thought from last episode. Remember when Aemond first like tells Cole that Aegon is sitting with his dragon? He points at him with cat's paw, the little dagger.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it, but Aegon had that the whole time. So Aemon must have found him, gone over, taken cat's paw off his belt, and just walked away.
Yeah,
Just-
he did. I didn't realize in the moment, but you see him do it in the episode.
yeah, you see him like put the sword
You
back
see him
away,
like
but
sheathing away his
God,
I so when I first was watching last week's episode, I thought he like killed Aegon himself. Like when I
yeah,
just like slit his throat or something. But yeah, so now we know what it was that he was
just
doing.
thought,
But
I just thought that was so funny. He just went up and just took it. Was like, all right, fuck you.
he's like, I don't give a shit. He
Yeah,
hates his brother.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we go back to this would be Dragonstone. Jason Jace was talking to Bela, right? He's not talking to Reyna, is he?
No, Raina's at the Vale.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bela.
No. Wait, who does Corlys talk to later in the episode? He talks to Reyna.
Bela.
No, Reyna. So
Bela's the
these
older one, the one that Luke is betrothed to, or Jace is betrothed to.
Yeah, I thought that was Bela that he is like supposed to marry, but the one we see a lot this episode is Reyna.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think
because
so.
he says
The older
Corlys
one.
says Reyna later, right?
Is it
Or am I
Raina?
getting
Am I
did
just
I get
mixed
the
up the
names
names?
mixed up?
I could be. I don't know. You keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Well, I'm gonna say Bela because that's what I wrote and that's what I thought it was. And oh no, didn't Bela leave?
Oh my
Yes,
god.
this had to have been Reyna. So I said Jace tells Bela that he plans to travel and speak with the phrase, and which Bela says Rhaenyra would never allow it, and he says don't speak of it then until I've already left, so that no one can stop him. And I like this, and I understand why Rhaenyra doesn't want him to do this, but at the same time, I like seeing Jace kind of want to take a stand and be an adult and not want to always feel like he's hidden behind his mother, and that he can be a soldier, he can be a leader. And yeah, so I like what Jace I like Jace's whole arc in this episode, kind of.
Yeah. So yeah, Jace was talking to Bela,
Yes.
and then Corlys later on talks to Bela.
He talks to Damn, why did I think it was
Yes,
Reyna?
because she's the older one. She was supposed to inherit what's it called? Um, Corlys's place. Shit, can't think of it.
So, okay, so we're really never gonna see. We're not gonna see Reyna as much.
Not as much. I mean, we see her in this episode when she goes to the
Yeah, but
Vale and talks to Lady Aaron, but yeah, because she's the one who got sent off to Pentos.
yep, that's who I thought. But yeah, after that scene, oh yeah, we see Rhaenyra talking with Mysaria about how she wasn't taught to fight. She was taught history and knowledge, and that was never supposed to be her position because it was such a peaceful time, and that wasn't the job of a queen, and especially not like the queen of everyone. Like I don't know how to explain. Like the queen, it's not a queen consort anymore. She's just would have been the queen. You're not supposed to be in the battles fighting at that time. You're supposed to be back
Hmm.
there. You're supposed to be helping your people. And yeah, so it is cool to see that even Rhaenyra knows that maybe, at least how I take it, is that Rhaenyra is like, she knows that she should be the queen, but at the same time, she was never taught this style of being a leader. Like she's never had to be violent or aggressive. She's just been taught how to handle problems and all that.
Yeah, no, she obviously being a woman, she wasn't taught that stuff. That's kind of the point of that. But I do I thought maybe Viserys should have done that after he named her heir. He should have been like, all right, you have to fight a little bit. But I think still it's because they had so much peace, Viserys and Jaehaerys, just all that peacetime. They never really expected it. So maybe it was just kind of a slip on Viserys' end to not give her any training like that. Um, yeah, like she, just kind of thought they're not going to have to worry about it. So, why even worry about it?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in agreement with that. And then, of course, we see Rhaenyra back with the council and how the council really has no trust in her leading them into battle. They more want a male position helping them with that, and they just kind of want her to stay behind. Which again, kind of goes back into what she was just saying to Masara. She didn't really train this way, so I get where the council's come from, but at the same time, you can't really. I guess you are. I guess the council's job is kind of go against what they say and kind of give them better options. And maybe Rhaenyra does need help with all that, but she was not very accepting of it yet.
Yeah, which I think is kind of a fault of Rhaenyra because she understands behind closed doors when she's talking with Massaria that she doesn't know how to fight. But every time these guys bring it up that she should stay back, she's so adamant that she should go and fight, which honestly probably isn't the best idea because she doesn't know how to fight. So obviously she needs to do something, and in her mind as the queen, she should be on the front lines at least. Maybe not on the front lines, but at least be there. Just she has a dragon, you know compared to a lot of other dragons, somewhat large. So she should be doing something. But I don't think the council was that wrong in saying that she should stay back for at least most of it. Because these guys, and she says it later, these guys haven't seen war either, but at least they've, trained like all the other boys. And they also have armies that they can command. So, and, the armies will follow them because they trust in them. So I don't think they're completely wrong. It's more so the way that they say it to her every time that ticks her off.
Yeah, because they say it more. It seems like kind of that they say in like an insulting way instead of just trying to get it across as like, no, we care about you, and this has never been what you were. This isn't what you know. That's I feel like they're just wording it wrong, and maybe she's
Yeah,
being a little thick headed about it because she already feels. I mean, she's felt this way since she was a kid. That just because she's a girl, no one believes in her. So I mean, she's probably just. I don't know. She's trying.
she is.
I'm still Team Black all the way, baby.
Yeah, it's tough to say otherwise because the greens have almost no good qualities about them. Like they're still trying to do like, are you team black or team green? It's like there's no. It kind of sucks because it's become so black and white with Team Green now, where I feel like earlier in the first season, more when like they were younger, it could have been like, oh, this poor kid got his eye chopped out. Allison still kind of sucks, but now everybody just sucks on the greens. Like you just can't side with them. They're more entertaining to watch, I think, but it's tough to be on that side in any way.
Yeah, because there's no good person in the Greens. I feel like Allison's probably the most good heart of them, and she's the reason for all this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get. I definitely liked when it was more like you could root for either side, but at the same time, there eventually had to be a worse side to all of this. Like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you don't need to have a worse side, but I always like when I like having a bad side, the good and the evil, because
Hmm.
there's definitely some evil people on Team Green. When
Yeah.
I don't know, because the whole Damon storyline right now is definitely not helping the Blacks' cause. Even though I don't
No,
know if that.
Damon's always been the rogue prince. He's always been that guy who can just get bad when he needs to. So, especially now with what happens later with fucking Willem. God damn it, dude. Oh,
Yeah, this is gonna.
that's rough.
Um, and Masara then she tells Raina that she knows that Cole had made a mistake by taking the dragon's head through the city, as we'd seen with all the city folk, the city people, the normal people. They they're all saying it's bad luck. This is a black omen, and Masara is like saying like, hey, like this isn't just people think this, but this is helping you more than you even know. And
Yeah,
then which leads into a quote that we've been hearing. I mean, since the very first trailer of of this season, and we've been hearing it in every next week's episode coming up on Game of Thrones. We've seen it every time. We've all been waiting to see, at least for me to hear it, because I feel like it is such a huge part of this Game of Thrones world, and of course, I'm excited to see more of it in House of the Dragon, and that there is more than one way to fight a war. And yeah, I mean, that's what you said. That's what you're so excited about, and just seeing the way some of this rest of this episode pans out, it really is going to become such a big deal that it's not just all about the actual battles and the swords. It's going to come down to secrets and like just uh vocal battles, I guess, if you want to use it that way. It's not all just going to come down to them sword to sword.
yeah, 100%. And especially now with the dragons, you see Kristen say it earlier. Like he was all pumped up to go to battle because he's done it and he knows what to do, and he did a good job in the battle, commanding his guys and having a plan. But he says it to Allison earlier, like we've handed the war to the dragons now. It's over for us. You don't get to fight sword in hand and do all that because once a dragon shows up, it's game over. So it's it's going to be interesting because you can't just have dragons fight every day because it's you don't have enough, especially with Vagar on that side. The blacks have more dragons, but the greens just have Vagar, who's it's tough to beat. So you got to try something else, and it's my favorite thing about these shows is all of like the wordplay and how it can ruin somebody and prop somebody up. It's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, 100%. Then, oh, I definitely scrolled down way too far in my notes. Um, so Reyna, no, Bayla and Rhaenyra speak about how Rain. I think more to make Rhaenyra brings it up to Bayla. I think it's a way to try and make her feel better, and that they talk about how Rhaenys claimed her dragon, how they were pure. Was it her father that was so mad about it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and
I
it
think
was
it was
more.
her mom's dragon, and she died,
Yeah,
and then Rhaenys took it pretty quickly.
and it's just nice. It was more of like a nice scene because you can see that Rhaenyra is such a caring person, which we don't always get to see, and I definitely think she's probably a much kinder human being, a kinder person than Allison, and I feel like we get to see that more in in this scene specifically.
Yeah, definitely agree. She knows how to be a mother. Like she understands what it is. And obviously after losing her son, she understands what that means to lose somebody. And with Bayla just losing her aunt, it's tough. It's really difficult for her. So
And then we get into a scene that right away was just so uncomfortable. is that we see Damon continues to have these dreams here at Harrenhal, and this dream specifically is of him and his mother having sexual relations, and
Yeah, that
the whole
was
time,
something.
yeah, and the whole time instead of like dirty talk, she's just hyping Damon up and all the things Damon needs to hear about, like how he would have been better suit for the throne, all this stuff, only if he had just been born first. And I thought he was gonna wake up and just be in his room. He's just having this while he's eating dinner with all the homies. Very, very uncomfortable scene to just cut to then some
Yeah,
really bloody duck.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
gross.
What
I
goes
didn't
on?
like
Yeah,
that. I was trying to figure out. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then she just said she dropped that it was his mom. I was like, oh god, dude, Jesus. Even Damon was caught off guard. He was like, oh, what the fuck?
I
Jump
couldn't tell
back.
if
He
he was
was
caught
grossed
off
out.
guard or if he was just I
I
don't
think he
know.
was a little grossed out by himself.
Then we see Damon as he's sitting there at the council tells the strong that it's time for them to show. It's time for him to show their strength, and yeah, that's pretty much what that is. Um, and then he learns that all the coin, all the gold that he thought that they had, and all this stuff, they only really have enough to just keep themselves warm and feed who's been there. So they don't have the resources as of right now to feed these armies that they're going to need, these battalions and all this kind of stuff. But
Yeah, Laris took it all with him to King's Landing, so
son of a
they're
bitch.
basically broke. They kind of just have the castle, but they don't have enough to build it up and make it what it needs to be, or at least what Damon wants it to be.
Yeah, they definitely don't. I don't even think they have enough to make it what it needs to be.
No,
Because
not
what
at all.
Damon wants is definitely more than what they need. Because I feel
Yeah.
like Damon's just a little crazy. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense because Laris is a bitch. But at the same time, like you feel like you'd want. I guess because they don't really have say over Laris, because Laris is just gonna do whatever he wanted. And he's such a little.
Yeah, and
He's,
Laris is also the Lord of Harrenhal. He controls it technically. He just gave it to Simon as like, all right, you can stay here, and Simon can't really do anything because Laris is not only the controller of Harrenhal, but he's also basically on the council. So it's he's in a tough spot.
yeah, and then this whole sequence ends with Damon as he's moving out the door. The council then tries to stand and they all kind of don't. They're not really used to having this council meetings where they just send when the king leave. Well, the Lord leaves, I guess. And Damon then requests to be called the king, and then Simon corrects him, says the king consort, which Damon responds. He's like, that seems a little bit unnecessary, isn't it? Kind of seeing more each episode, especially this season, we're seeing him become more and more like, no, I'm the king. Like no one's
Yeah.
taking this from me. Which at first is very seemed like he could be on Rhaenyra's side, but he's definitely seeming to lose that as the series moves forward.
hmm Yeah, I think so. I
Mhm.
mean, I do love that Simon keeps saying it though, because like he's got balls to say that to Damon, dude. To keep dropping that, just keep dropping consort after every time Damon calls himself king. It's so funny because one of these times, man, you could just get got immediately.
I thought that was coming this because the way Damon just turns to look at him, it's
Yeah,
that look that Damon gives when he's kind of lost himself for a moment.
yeah, 100%.
But from there, we go back to King's Landing, where Allison is told of Aegon's injuries and how they believe that there's more injuries probably inside than there are outside, and that she wants to know if that he's going to heal and if he's woken up yet. And the Grandmaster doesn't think that he'll ever wake up at this point. I mean, if you got to see this episode, which I'm assuming you did if you're listening to us, and when you see him, he doesn't look like there's going to be not much going on inside his brain from now on.
No, he's all fucked up. But I do love how Aemon is just immediately like, all right, if he's not waking up, somebody's got to be king. So, I mean, Aemon knows what he's doing. He's very much like Damon. It's completely on purpose. He just
Yeah,
wants to be king and he wants to take rule, and you know it's fair enough because he's going to be much better than Aegon, or at least much more aggressive because he
I don't know
knows
if
what he
better
has
is
to
the right
do.
word.
Yeah,
They which then leads to Allison saying that she should be the one that sits on the throne during this time, only because she's done this before with Viserys, which I agree. I think Allison would have been the better choice for them at this time. I know that was peacetime then, and this is war, and there's gonna be different decisions being debated. But Allison at least has the experience, and I still feel like Aemon's such a loose cannon in what he's gonna do.
Yeah,
And this leads to then the council's coming to a decision on who they should pick. And it all comes down really to Cole's decision being the hand, and he selects Aemond. And yeah, so now Aemond's gonna be the one sitting on the throne at least while quote unquote Aegon heals.
yeah. I mean, it makes total sense for them to pick Aemond because if they were to pick Allison, what would that mean for Rhaenyra? You know, you can't have this entire war about a woman not sitting on the throne and then put a woman on the throne. At least, you know, even if it is for a little bit, you just can't do that. And Aemon's obviously the right choice to make, just especially for Cole, because the decision kind of came down to him. Um, they've been plotting the entire season, just scheming on how they're going to fight this, and they've made plans together. So they're very much on the same side. And they think the same way. So it makes total sense to have Aemon on the throne, at least for a little bit, especially for Allison. Even though Allison does have more experience with it and would probably make decisions that are a little bit more helpful, especially to the small folk and stuff like that. But I mean, Eamon just got up there immediately and started making decisions. I loved how he walked up and just put his little ball on the seat. It was so badass. And then the whole scene where he's talking, explaining what he needs to do, finally takes the rat catchers down. So I think Eamon's going to do, you know, obviously still one of the bad guys. So I'm not going to say he's going to do a good job. But I think he's been thinking about it for a long time, and he knows what he wants to get done. He knows what he needs to get done. Um, A, to aid their side in the war, and B, to get the small folk and other people back on their side a little bit. Because I think he realizes how important that is, just as much as now, you know, Rhaenyra is starting to realize it. So it's going to get interesting.
Yeah, and then from there, going back to the small folk, is that they begin piling at the gate to get out of. Would this be to get out of the Red Keep, or is this to get out of King's Landing?
I think I'm not sure. I think it might be King's Landing because, yeah, probably just King's Landing.
But yeah, then we see that the guards are just like, no, you can't leave. Aemond has ordered to keep the gates shut and to keep the people there, and this does not make these people happy. So they kind of just start kind of rioting at this point and just attacking the guards. And I really thought this could turn into a much bigger thing, like they were going to start slicing and dicing the innocents,
Yeah,
which it doesn't turn into that, thank God. But yeah, it was still pretty, as we're saying, like it's showing that these people are not very happy with how things are being ruled, especially in King's Landing at the moment.
yeah, 100%.
From there,
It
we
will be
go.
interesting to see if Damon kind of goes back to the Gold Cloaks and tries to get help from them, because they're still pretty loyal to him. We see, you know, in the first episode, one of the guys who killed Jaharis, young Jacaerys, whatever it was, he was a Gold Cloak that Aemon just caught and just stopped and was like, "Hey, you still work for me. Let's go." So it'll be interesting if Damon tries to go back and get them back on his side. I think that's something that could definitely happen.
Yeah. And then with that, we see Jace as he speaks to the phrase. The phrase continue to pretty much. This is, yeah, it's the phrase, right?
Yeah, it's the phrase.
Yeah. And they continue to say that they fear Vagar, which I mean, it's a pretty fair thing to fear, I think. And they ask if they can request protection, which Jace grants. He also said they'll have Damon's protection, which you can tell right away they don't really believe him on that as much. Like they don't know if that's actually true. And he Jace grants it, even though I don't know if he can't really control Damon. And then they don't really fully accept this yet. And then he asks what they want. They say, "Can is there a way that they could get in on Harrenhal?" And for that, Jace requests that they bend the knee. Then, and
Yeah.
I saw that he talks about later. He's like, they want Harrenhal. Do they? I took it as more like they want to marry into Harrenhal.
No, they won Harrenhal.
Because he says, "Are you?" I wasn't sure if they meant like we have a daughter. Because like, are you planning to birth any more lords? So I wasn't sure if they meant like, oh, we have a daughter that could maybe we have a kid that could eventually marry in and have Harrenhal. So I
No, I
wasn't.
don't think so. Because Harrenhal isn't like it's not a place like Winterfell where it's like the Starks always have it. Like the Strongs have it right now with Harrenhal, that is, but it's constantly moving around. It's just like a nice. It's the biggest castle that there is. Obviously, it's in ruins now, but it's just a place that a lot of people want. So no, I don't think they meant like a marriage pact with the Strongs or anything. I think they just want Harrenhal itself, and they can ask for that now that it's under the Blacks, you know, rule, kind of.
Yeah, because Damon has captured quote unquote Harrenhal.
Yeah,
D- 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 Oh, back in Harrenhal, we see Damon in the middle of what seems like the main room or the biggest room is at the time in Harrenhal, and all of a sudden he begins to hear screaming, which then Damon, of course, looks back to see the witch just chilling up there watching over him like
yeah,
a weird bitch.
yeah.
Um,
I did find out that she is supposedly, I forget the Strong from the first season, the guy who was like Viserys' hand for a little bit. Supposedly she's his bastard, so she's supposedly like Laris and Harwin's bastard sister. But also that in the books is like very, they're not sure about it. So she very well could be like a witch who's been there for like decades or however long. But supposedly she is a strong bastard. So
okay, so I
that's just
thought
I thought
so.
that was interesting.
Yeah, but it's cool that because then I was like, oh, I guess I was wrong. But it is good to
Yeah.
know that I wasn't. I mean, we could be wrong to their to what everyone thinks is that she's that.
Yeah. Like it's said that that's who she is, but nobody really knows for sure.
Yeah. Damon then begins to speak with the witch as she is fixing up his hand a little bit, and she begins to talk about how this isn't a war. This is just crimes against innocent people at this point. And I mean, in total, she does have a very fair point since a lot of there's only been a few battles so far, and we hear really Cole is just running through these castles, these places, and just either killing people or he's just accepting. He wants them to bend the knee, and I mean,
Yeah.
not fair point. And with Damon, you can definitely see that even if he was in this battle, he might be doing the same exact thing because he isn't the kindest person, and he, as we've talked about, I mean, the entire time the House of Dragons been on, he's a very ruthless human being. So
Yeah. 100%. I mean, it's a through line throughout both series is that, the lords play their game and the small folk are the ones who suffer. Um, so yeah, but especially what's going on with the Blackwoods and Brackens right now, the Damon kind of started by telling Willem to go and get him by any means necessary. We see a little bit later on that the Riverlands as a whole are not very fond of that, and they kind of turn against Damon. But yeah, I mean, it's mostly the innocents suffering right now, and I feel like maybe even a little bit more with the blacks because, well, yeah, Kristen's going through and taking different keeps and castles and making them bend the knee. He's definitely hurting a lot of small folk and anybody who won't immediately submit. But if you think about it, the blacks have only done that. Like they're not even taking places; they're just killing people at this point. Especially with what Damon's doing. Like neither side has a good track record. But if you're gonna go like percentage wise, the blacks might be doing worse right now. Especially with again what's happening with the Brackens and Blackwoods.
yeah,
So
especially with what we're gonna learn. We're gonna talk about in I think only in a few scenes. We're gonna go back to the whole idea of hurting innocent people, and but yeah, it's definitely not looking great. Oh
yeah,
no, it is this scene. I'm sorry. Oh no, it's not. I'm wrong. It's not this scene.
hmm I did love seeing Damon actually like work
Oh, I skipped
though.
that.
I kind of thought that was cool when he was actually like chopping wood and trying to build shit. I feel
Yeah,
like
because he
most
said he's like
lords
no
wouldn't do
one.
that.
Because he
Yeah.
says like no one will be able to say that I did not get my hands dirty.
Yeah, like I feel like he's still not a good. Like he's still pretty crazy and rogue and doesn't really care much for innocence and stuff like that. But I feel like it's kind of working. Like Alice is kind of getting to him with all the drugs and shit. He's kind of learning his lesson a little bit, but obviously not that much. But
See,
yeah.
I don't know if he's learning. I feel like the drugs are more just whatever she's giving him at this point. I feel like it's more bringing out like his envy at this point. I feel like it's making him more like I want. This is what I want. I don't care
I
that.
feel like it is a little bit, but I also think that she's trying to show him that like this innocence, the innocents like her, or at least quote unquote like her, are the ones who suffer. So I think she's trying to show him that, which I think might be working just a little bit. But you're right, like he is still pretty crazy, and he's not a good guy. He's very like
Yeah,
anti-hero ish.
Yeah, he's definitely a good guy. Was not a word I would use with Damon. But
Yeah,
then they end that conversation with Damon saying, even he's like, Rhaenyra has the right to it. He's like, even the people that follow Rhaenyra and agree that she should be the queen will not follow her for the battle. That's not who they're not going to follow her into
yeah,
these wars and stuff. They need a king. They're looking for a man in this, which
hmm
sadly at this time is most likely true. Is that they do want someone that has been the battle, has fought, and all that. That's who they want, not
yeah.
a girl who hasn't
They
proven any of this yet.
Yeah, they want somebody who will fight by their side, and we know from earlier that Rhaenyra can't do that. Like she just doesn't know how. So they want somebody who's going to go into battle with them. We saw last episode, Kristen used it when Aegon showed up. Kristen used it to hype up all his men and be like, "Hey, your king is with you. Let's fight harder." And it totally works. Like that's how it goes. You want the guy who you're fighting for to be there. So obviously they'd be fighting to get Rhaenyra on the throne, but if she's not going to be in battle with them, you need somebody to go to battle with, somebody to fight for and be like, yeah, I'm fighting for that guy over there, not that lady, 3 kingdoms away.
Yeah, and then from there it comes to one of the scenes that is one of my favorite scenes of the episode, is when Corlys is speaking with Baela of how Rhaenyra wants Corlys to be the hand of the queen, I guess in this specific situation. And
Yeah,
Corlys doesn't care for this. He begins talking about how none of this really means anything. Does this make up for that my wife is dead? And he then goes into how he would rather just travel west right now and disappear and leave it all behind. Baela goes with all this and tells Corlys that Rhaenys died the way that she had wished, just like how her own mother had died and how she wishes to one day perish. And in one of the best scenes, which to me is again one of the best scenes of this episode, Corlys wants to. He did this whole conversation between the two of them ends with Corlys saying he wants to make Baela his heir, and she speaks of how it can't be her. She's born from what she say, air and fire, land and fire, and
fire and blood, maybe
fire and blood, and then he's from something and
salt and
sea,
sea.
salt and sea. Thank you. Which again, I like that she isn't so. I feel like so many of the people of the show are so greedy and they would be like, oh, yeah, sure, give it. I'll take it. While she is very much like, that's not what I'm here for. It's not what I'm supposed to be. And yeah, Baela's the best. So
Yeah,
far.
no,
I
I
really like
I thought
Baela.
it was a really good scene from Bela and that actress in general. Like she did a great job, and she makes a great point. Like Corliss would be a great hand. It's a great call from Rhaenyra, um, and she would be a terrible lord, or I guess lady of Seastone, or what's it called again?
Oh my God. I can't remember now.
I can't remember either. I think it's something like that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's just honest. She makes a good point. And like you said, most people would be like, yeah, totally, give me as much as you can possibly give me. But she realizes that, you know, especially if she wants Corliss to be on their side and to be hand of the king, she needs to just level with him and be like, listen, I'm not the one for this, but you are the one that should be hand of the king or queen. It just makes sense. So it'll be interesting to see who they pick. It's probably going to be the Corliss's bastard, who we've been seeing throughout the show past couple episodes. I mean, there's got to be a reason to keep bringing this guy up. So I'm sure it'll probably be him, or maybe the other guy that we've seen once or twice. But yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be
I
interesting
think
to
it's going to
see.
be, I think it's his bastard who's eventually going to take
Yeah,
over.
I forget that guy's name, but Adam, I think maybe.
Yeah. It's some basic name.
Yeah,
We're just
it's
going to go
always just every once in a while they drop like a regular ass name, like Adam, Kevin, Jason.
Adam. Um, From this scene, yeah. From this scene, we go back to Dragonstone, where Rhaenyra goes to speak with Sir Alfred, who is one of the council members who had said that she shouldn't be making these decisions, that they need Daemon or they need someone else to be leading this while she stays behind. Rhaenyra tells them that he was correct about the army and that she needs him to travel to Harrenhal to try and reason with Daemon and see what his true intentions of all this, of taking Harrenhal, of being by himself, and all these decisions. What is it all truly for? Is he doing it for himself or is he doing it for Rhaenyra? And her only message that she has for Sir Alfred to actually give him is that she wishes for her and Daemon to finish their last conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Emma Darcy, I love you. You're the best. Every scene I watch you in, I think fantastic. Um,
Nice. Yeah, you're in, dude.
yeah, Emma Darcy.
Yeah,
Come
well
on.
done. Jesus.
What I said, she's a great actress. I don't know what I didn't say anything wrong.
I don't know, man. I'm talking about a lot. Um, yeah, but no, I, I mean, Rhaenyra made the right call to get that guy off of the council, but not just kick him out and like turn him against her, but give him something to do and something important. So I can't wait for him to get the Harrenhal because I know the second Damon sees him, he's gonna be like, God fucking damn it, this asshole. What do you
Oh,
want?
I don't. I don't think Sir Alfred's coming back to Dragonstone.
Oh man, it's gonna be great.
um, Dame is then awakened as it looks like it's going to be another one of his dreams. As we see someone moving towards his door, but instead is Lord Simon, and he's telling them that who this is the people of the Riverlands, right? That have come to see them.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I think. Oh my god, stupid notes that. Yeah, and just something quick that I had in my notes, just like a little thought of mine. That whole it was very quick, but that little tracking shot of Damon walking through Harrenhal to lead him into the main council room, very simple, but it's very pretty. And I love the not pretty, but very nice to look at. I just like the whole set piece of Harrenhal. I like the dark colors. It's all wet. It's like a little dingy, but I don't know. It looked really cool and simple.
Yeah, the Harrenhal just looks awesome in general.
Yeah, and yeah, the Brackens, as we and Ryan had talked about earlier, especially with Team Black, and this isn't really a war anymore. This is innocent people just being hurt, and we see that the Brackens. We don't see, thank God. We hear that the Brackens have begun pillaging the innocents and taking the
No,
women and the
no,
children.
no, 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 no. The
That's the Bracken.
Blackwoods. The
Blackwoods.
Blackwoods are doing that to the Brackens.
Okay, so that's the Bracken people then that showed up.
No, that's like other Riverlands people who are like, you can do. You're doing this to them. Don't do this to us, dickhead. Stop. The
Oh,
Brackens are fucked. They're not going anywhere.
sorry, everyone. The Blackwoods had begun pillaging and taking the women and children and killing the men.
Yeah, which made
And
me
you can
sad, dude. Because I like my boy Willem. I was so excited to let him go, spread his wings, do his shit. And goddamn, what did you do, man? Like,
spreading your wings.
you were such a nice little kid. He was so nervous asking Rhaenyra to marry him, and then he fucked up that asshole. And now look at him,
uh,
pillaging and raping and kidnapping. It's terrible.
and this is again another really interesting scene because it looked Damon doesn't seem like he has any idea about any of this.
Yeah,
This is all, and you kind of see that they're all these people that showed up to talk to him. They're turning against him because they don't know. They think, oh, you didn't know about this, sure you didn't, and the people are kind
mm,
of turning against Damon, and you see this as Damon's kind of losing himself a little bit as this whole scene continues. He sees his wife again, his ex-wife, his passed away wife, and you I mean dead serious, like he looks like he's slowly losing his mind. And then when they do leave, he like leans against the fireplace and all that. And to me, again, this is a little note I had, not to the extent of a Homelander, because Homelander's so far bad. Because Damon does have, I feel like, good in him. He just doesn't really show it that often. But I feel like we're getting to that point where like, oh my god, what is this all gonna? What is Damon gonna eventually do? Like this is all building towards him doing something, and
yeah. I mean,
I kind of want to see what it is.
I think he's gonna fuck up the Blackwoods because the Blackwood. I again, like I agree with you. Like when he was talking to the Blackwoods and trying to get the Brackens on their side, and then they walked away and accepted death and to fight whatever. Which also we skipped that. That was a great scene too. And that shot of the guy riding away on the horse with the dragon Caraxes behind him. Oh, it's terrifying. But the, the Blackwood's biggest mistake is that they did all this with Targaryen banners. So I think it was kind of a misunderstanding on Willem's end. I didn't get that from Damon when to do all of that. I think he was more so Damon was more so saying like get them on your side or like marry somebody to a Bracken, get them on your side somehow. But I think Willem misunderstood it probably because of what Damon's done in the past and the type of guy that he's we know him to be to a point, but also rumored to be to a further point. He just fucked up bad. So I think Damon is going to go and just destroy, or at least retaliate against the Blackwoods to show that he didn't mean for this to happen, to kind of get more River Lords on his side. But to your point of like a Homelander moment, I thought it was more of like a Tony Soprano moment, Like he's like, Jesus Christ, what did I do? He starts like passing out. I don't
Oh,
think it's
okay,
a
yeah, no, I
a
definitely
moment.
get what you're
Yeah, I don't think it was a moment and he's gonna like lash out and do some crazy shit. I think he's going to, you know, rationally attack somebody. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's gonna lash out and go insane, but I think he's definitely gonna retaliate at least a little bit to say like, calm the fuck down, show other people that this wasn't his idea, at least not all the way. Try to get some people back on his side, or at least believing that he's not as ruthless as they think he is. But yeah, I took it. It looked more like a Tony Soprano, just like Jesus Christ, what happened? You know?
saying. Yeah, no, I get what you mean then. From there, we go back to King's Landing, and this is right outside the gate of King's Landing, on the opposite side of where we saw all the people from earlier in the episode. And we see this lady walking up in the pouring rain, and she goes to speak with one of the soldiers, and she says that she needs to speak to someone, that it's about Masara. What did she call it? A something from Masara?
I don't remember
Message from
something.
Masara.
Yeah, sure thing.
And he's like, I thought she had died, which of course she hasn't. So does that mean that most of King's Landing? Does that mean that the Red Keep think that she's dead as well?
I mean, the Red Keep didn't really know who she was. Otto did, but I like Aemond, Aegon. I don't think they really knew who she was because she was just kind of there with Daemon. So
Oh, that is
yeah,
true.
but
Yeah.
that's why the Gold Cloaks are still kind of loyal to her and Daemon because obviously Daemon was in control of the Gold Cloaks and really propped them up, made them what they are today, made them the big boys.
I forgot.
So yeah,
Dude, I completely forgot about Damon being in charge of the Gold Cloaks.
yeah. So it's again, like I said earlier, it's awesome to see that they still are kind of on maybe not the black side, but at least Damon and Masaria's side. They're still kind of working for them. So yeah, again, if that goes somewhere, it's going to be super cool having like soldiers inside King's Landing. Think people that the Greens kind of trust in to patrol the city and keep it under control. But if they're working for the blacks, that could be really awesome.
Yeah, that could cause a lot of violence and backstabbing and manipulating, which is when Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, I think, find itself at its peak, when it's not. It doesn't have to be violence or like
Mhm.
action. I like when it's the backstabbing manipulation part of the show. So if if they do start leaning more into that, that's when I think the show's really, even though it's been great already, it can become in that conversation of best series out there.
Yeah.
From there, we see it's a very short scene. I think it's only a few seconds. We see Corlys there sitting on his throne, considering the decision of being the Hand. Where back in King's Landing, we see Aemon staring at the throne as Helena asks him if it was it all worth it, which is again just a quick scene. And from there, we go back to Dragonstone, so a couple places in a few seconds. Uh, Jace has now returned, and he wants to go to speak to Rhaenyra, as Rhaenyra thanks him for his actions, but she still remains what at least Jace thinks is angry. And when he asks what this is all about, she goes on to talk about how she feels like she's done nothing on her part for this war, as she keeps sending other people out to do things, and that she just has to sit there and wait and not do anything. Which, I mean, again, if you're in that position, you want to, especially if you want to help people, you don't want to send other people out and they die. You want to be there yourself and be able to help these people. And she's kind of, since being the queen, she's in a weird predicament a little bit, not being able to help them.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then Rhaenyra tells Jace that eventually all this is gonna she's going to have to eventually fight Vagar. That's what it's gonna have to be her at some point. And she talks about uh what's her dog? What's her, not her dog? What's her dragon is
Cyrax.
Cyrax. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Who
She
would
talks.
get absolutely one punched by
Oh
Vagar?
yeah,
Wouldn't
Melee's
stand a
or
chance.
yeah, like Melee's is a
Yeah.
legendary dragon, and
Melee's was the Black's biggest dragon and is dead now.
well,
Cyrax is
well,
not that big.
well, well.
Yes, I understand. The biggest controlled dragon. Yeah,
There
so
you go.
Caraxes is now. But like Jace says, they do have some wild dragons on Dragonstone with them. So I
Right underneath them,
yeah, living in the caves, down just dwelling.
Vermithor and Silverwing.
Yes. Vermithor is the one that Damon went and found last season.
Great scene, one of the best
It
scenes in
is
the
cool.
show. Yeah, and then of course Silverwing. And those are two dragons that can stand up to Vagar. But again, Rhaenyra tells me, he's like, yes, but it doesn't mean anything. We don't have riders.
Hmm.
And then Jace is
Vagar's
like,
still
well,
bigger.
yeah, but
Vermithor
it's
is
two.
second behind Vagar.
But having two, the second and third biggest dragon, really helps you fight the biggest dragon.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Um, Jay says, well, why don't we give Rain? Yeah, he does say Rain on this scene. He's like, we could give Raina a chance. She's like, no, no. Do you not remember what happened last time with all that? She almost lost her life. And then Jace starts thinking, and Jace, again, showing that he really is maturing. He's becoming more of an important piece in all this. Is that he's like, well, he's like, there's some Malister, a Tarly. He's like, we could try and get them with a dragon
Hmm.
instead of just having them sit there and gain dust, not do anything this battle. It could help them. And again, I want to say, quote, I wrote at the end of all these notes, I said, I do not like this decision. Because you are
No.
breaking all these rules that, even though it is Valerian history and all that, these rules, these notes, these stories, they were all put into a place for a reason, even if we don't know if they actually are true, because some of the stuff is just stories. But again, this episode then ends with Rhaenyra. We get more of a close-up shot of Rhaenyra, and she says, it is a mad thought, which then fades out. The camera pans out and then fades to black.
Yeah.
Ending episode 5 of House of the Dragon, season 2.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, how are they going to find all these people too? Are they just going to like send letters and to be like, "Hey, if you want to come to Dragonstone for the dragon sweepstakes, you might die, but if you get a dragon, be pretty cool."
Congratulations! You've
Yeah,
become
you've
my
won.
most famous employee.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
we then get our little look into what's coming forward in House of the Dragon, and we see that they are going to attempt the idea. We don't know who is attempting the idea. We just know that they are going to go forward with this. Jace
yeah.
then tells Rhaenyra that they need Daemon in this. This cannot be done. They cannot win without Daemon. And then my last note in all caps is big ass dragon, which I did think was Silverwing.
Yeah, it's Silverwing.
Yeah. And yeah, I just wrote big ass dragon, which was a really cool shot, which then it cuts to a shot of Rhaenyra looking absolutely terrified, which was really cool. So
Yeah.
either she's just scared of the dragon or the dragon does something, which is what I'm hoping more happens.
Hmm.
I want to see the
Yeah.
dragon.
It's going to be interesting who they get over there because obviously, the guy we've been following for the entire season so far, here and there, with Hugh in King's Landing being a supposed bastard of Jaehaerys. Um, it'll be interesting because Vermithor was Jaehaerys' dragon, so that could help him out a little bit. Have his son there, but yeah, it's going to be tough finding people with Targaryen blood, just in general, especially when it comes to bastards like Hugh. I don't know how they're going to find him, but I guess we'll find out. And
Yeah, because
he's
they don't have to be bastards. They could just be at some point a Targaryen married
yeah,
someone. And now that person has a slither of that blood in them still.
yeah. I mean,
So
it's
it
like
is
Rhaenys
interesting.
was. Rhaenys wasn't. She was half Baratheon, so
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a full Targaryen blood like they usually are. I mean,
Yeah.
Jace rides a dragon. He's a strong. Didn't even have white hair.
Yeah. It doesn't
Luke
even
had
have the
one.
white hair.
Yeah, which also Rhaenys doesn't in the books. They changed that. She has
Yeah.
black
They
hair.
changed it for the show.
Hmm.
But again, yeah. So, I mean, what do we got? This is 9 episodes.
8.
This is only
We
8.
got Yeah, we got 3 left. I've been saying this every fucking time. We got
I
3
don't know
left.
why I think it's 9. I thought it was only one less episode then. Because it
No.
was 10 last season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think in just my head it was only one. Damn, that means we only got 3 episodes left.
Yep.
But yeah, I
We're almost
mean,
there.
all in all, definitely just a good show with very good episode and just what has been so far. What, in my opinion, at least, a very good season that I think has a chance to be just as good, even better than the first season, which will be really hard because I think the season one's so good that these
Yeah.
last 3 would definitely have to be like great, great, great episodes. But you never
Yeah.
know. It could be. No one thought season 6 was that great. 6 in Game of Thrones isn't the best season, but definitely jumped on a lot of people's rankings at the final 2 episodes, which are considered 2 of the best episodes of the show.
I mean, yeah, but also season 1 of this show was fantastic. So I don't think season two is going to beat that. I'm not enjoying season two as much because there's just not as much going on, in
Whoa,
my
whoa!
opinion.
Season 2 is very. Don't,
It's good. It's definitely good, but I think season one was better as a whole.
yeah, and I just think that being able to do the time jump so well in the same season, I don't know. I feel like it gives it even more like, wow, what a great season, because
Yeah,
that could have went so poorly so quickly, and it could have ruined the season, but it doesn't.
yeah.
But yeah,
It feels like there was just more going on in season one, especially character wise.
yeah, and
I
it's
feel
a
like
little.
that's
It definitely had to be more fast paced because they only had
yeah,
so many episodes of each side of the time jump.
yeah.
But yeah, from here, Ryan, what's your recommendation of the week for everyone?
Um, let's think about it for a second. I'm gonna go Airbud, the baseball one.
There's a baseball Airbud movie.
I don't know, but I bet there is.
I've never watched a single Airbud movie.
Neither have I. Zero Dark 30 is good too. Zero Dark 30, that's a fun one.
What a jump! But yeah, no, those are good choices. I've never seen Airbud, but
you
I can
think
vouch for Zero
you think
Dark
there's an
30.
Airbud Zero Dark 30 movie? He joins the
Oh man,
Marines or some shit. Navy SEALs.
that's a Michael Bay movie right there. I'm going to recommend Me Before You with Amelia Clark and Sam Claflin.
Okay.
Nice romance movie. Very sad.
You're not gonna
Genuinely
do the
one.
one with her and Kristen Cole? Fabian, what's his name?
Oh, I forgot that they're in a movie together.
Yeah.
The reason I went with Amelia Clark is I'm watching Game of Thrones right now. I'm watching Beyond the Wall, the penultimate
Okay.
in season 7. And yeah, I love Me Before You. I just rewatched it actually. Like, I mean, it's probably been over a year now. Genuinely a great romance movie and genuinely a very good just movie. Sam Claflin, so charismatic in that movie. Amelia Clark, just a sweet character. Yeah, very good movie. Highly recommend. And also, go buy NCAA Football 25. So much fun. Already made $40 million, and it's been out for like one day.
It's very impressive. I'll get it Friday, I guess.
Did you see how many people were
Yeah,
playing?
700,000.
768,000 people were
That's
playing.
before the actual game came out. That was
Yeah,
just
and
uh, you know,
yeah, it was just like the
pre-purchased.
pre-sale,
Yeah.
which I'm very happy I got to do because it let me get ahead of everyone. But I will say today, the servers, because the game's like out now, the servers are just struggling to hold on. I mean, they
Yeah, I'm
went
sure.
down, but they did. Suppose they already added a bunch of servers today because I think they were like, okay, I thought it would take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
That's
insane.
also just people who were online at that time. I'm sure there
Yeah.
were plenty of people who were A, weren't playing, or B, were playing offline with friends or something like that.
Well, no, if you play with friends, that's online.
No, I meant
Oh,
like
like
split screen.
local, like in their house
Yeah.
playing. Dude, I saw a thing today. It was like a tweet. It was like it's 4 p.m. You just ordered some pizzas, had some Mountain Dew. You and the friends hanging out, playing college football. It was like the parents don't care how late you stay up. It's like you're 43 years old and it's 2024. NCAA football's back, baby.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely fun. But yeah, that is all for this week's episode. Speaking of episode 5 of the House of the Dragon. And I'm Tommy. That's Ryan. Thank you guys for the continued support of the show. And thank you guys for the continued support of our baseball video and all of the other videos that have been doing really well recently. And yeah, next episode will be our review of Osgood Perkins' newest film, Long Legs. And then after that, we'll be doing a 2-part episode of The Boys' uh, final 2 episodes. Right?
Yeah.
Final 2?
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot tomorrow's the finale at the time of recording. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And of course, Ryan, you get the final say in every episode of the show. And what do you want to leave everyone with today? What knowledge do you
Listen to the Long Legs episode. That's it. Bye.